So this is the Baja Designs FPV drone. So if you guys are familiar with off-road cars and lighting and like all of that stuff overlanding, you'll know that Baja Designs is one of the most famous companies because they make the best lights that have the brightest output and they're just super reliable. So on my 4Runner, I have a bunch of Baja Design lights. I've got one set of XL80s and then I have another set of Squadron sport lights, and those are in the fog lights. Each of these lights have the amber color so that when it's snowy or when you're in the dust, it'll kind of cut through that. So those are the fog lights right there. You can see they're super bright, and then these are the XL80s. So those things are freaking bright, and it's not totally dark right now, so this isn't perfect. And these are my XL80s. This is what it looks like. So in this portion of the video, I'm going to show you how I was able to mount this to my FPV drone and all the materials and the custom wiring harness that I used. So here is how I built this. So when I originally started this video, I thought I was going to use the Baja Design Squadron Pro because it's going to have twice as many LEDs you can see versus the S2 Pro. So there's actually 4 lights on this one and only 2 on this one, but I'm going to show you the weight difference. So when I weigh this one, it's about 313 grams, and that is with this wiring harness that it comes with. Now I wanted to leave these connectors on there just in case if I ever wanted to use these for something else, then I would have it already there and I wouldn't have to use a different wiring connector. So this light is about 313 grams. And then when you weigh this light, it's about 195 grams. So you have a lot of saving. And when I actually compared these two at night, and I know that this is the amber version, these lights almost seem just as bright. So I decided to go with these because it's a lot lighter and you get pretty much close to the same lumen output, it looked like. And I know it's supposed to be rated for a lot more, but visually this just looked like it was going to be better and lighter. So I went with this. So this is an overview of all of the materials that I used for this special wiring harness and how I was able to get it on my drone. So first off, this is the S2 Pro light with the wiring that it comes with. This is an inline fuse adapter, so I can wire this in, and this is actually rated for 30 amps. This is a 30 amp fuse, which is more than enough to power this light, but it's the only one I had lying around, so it's what I used. This is an XT60 LiPo battery connector, and I went with this because I'll be powering this off of LiPo. So this is a 4S 1500 amp LiPo. It's also just something that I had laying around, so I didn't have to purchase anything else. This is going to allow me to power the light with this LiPo, which is going to be really nice. This is a Delphi weather pack connector that I'm going to use when I make my custom harness. This is the OEM one that they ship with the Baja Design light. So this is what it looks like once you have this part kind of finished. So this is the 3D printed mount adapter, and then I have this actually screwed into my camera clip so that this will actually just clip into my camera and sit there, and I can fully adjust the angle without having to use any screws. So I have a washer there and I have the bolt that goes through, and this, it looks kind of flimsy, but I promise it is sturdy. So when I take this and I weigh how much it is, it's about 26 grams. So this is 26 grams for the adapter, the camera clip, and the screw. And you can see that that by itself is 26 grams. So by using this 3D printed method, I was able to save a couple grams. So this is what the custom wiring harness looks like at the end. So you have the Delphi weather pack connector, and then I have this soldered to the inline fuse, and then the fuse in there. So there's the 30 amp fuse in there, and then this connects right to the end, and this is the LiPo XT60 connector. So this is what it looks like when it's all wired up. So I have this all connected, and then all that I do is I take this LiPo and I just simply plug it in now, and you can see that this is all wired up and it's this big. So with the light wired up and the custom wiring harness. It's 412 grams. Now it is kind of heavy, but for this specific drone, I fly a Sony Cinelifter that is similar to this weight, so I should be able to get 3 to 4 minutes out of it. So now I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna connect it to the Baja light. And so simply what you do is I take the screw and I'm gonna put it in here and just put it in. And then I'm gonna take the other side and do the exact same thing. And so there's the finished product. It has the camera clip, the 3D printed adapter, and then here's the wiring harness, and everything works. Now this is the drone that I fly. It's a 6-inch Strawhat aerial Vulture, and you can see this little part right there. So that is actually how you connect it. So this camera clip, it's gonna drop right into here, and then you just push it in and it clips in, and that's all you have to do. Now the really cool thing about this design is there's 2 screws right there, and you can just take this and control the camera tilt of it. So whatever angle that I need, I can make it super easily on the fly, and then I just tighten those back up and it's ready to go. I also could have saved a lot of weight doing different things on this build, making this wire shorter, but I just wanted to do something that was simple and test it and fly it out and see if it would even work. This is the final product. It does not look pretty, I will say that. So I have my battery to power the drone, the battery to power the Baja Design light, and I definitely could have used a smaller battery, but this is all that I have right now. And then the wiring harness, I have it all zip tied there. And then on the batteries themselves, I have another zip tie, and I have 2 straps going over to kind of keep it in place. And then all I have to do is I just take these and I just plug it in, and I have my light. So I'm set up in my front yard now, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do just a little hover test to see how it flies. So this is my Mambo radio, and then this is the drone. I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna plug it in. And there you can see the LEDs all working and everything. Everything's contained in this. So we're gonna see how it flies. So I just flew it around. It flies very similar to how a big Sony camera would feel. It's a little slow and sluggish, and the weight isn't perfectly distributed, so it kind of leans to one side. But I'm gonna wait till tonight, and then I'm gonna go fly it, and I'm gonna do it in the dark and see what it looks like to fly FPV at night, to be able to light things up. So I'm super excited. This should be really cool. FPV drones are really hard to fly after the sun goes down because the sensors are so small. It's like driving with no headlights. And so that's one of the problems with FPV, and a solution that I came up with, it's kind of crazy, but I wanted to put a Baja Designs light on my drone. So it would fix the issue of not having enough light at night, and then also it would be really cool and you could use it for some really cool filming. So my friend Luke Bredar, he's like a super freaking awesome FPV drone pilot. We went and flew his Mavic one night, and he has a Mavic 3, and he has this special Tundra light that goes on the bottom, and it goes like this with the camera. And we tried it out. It can get some really cool footage, but it's really hard to use, and that's because it's so heavy. And when you put it on the Mavic, it doesn't have enough power to really fly it. And so we almost crashed his Mavic into snow a couple of times, and it was crazy. And also it's really finicky. Like once you move it, it'll just kind of jitter like that. And so for how expensive it is, it's not worth it. And the problem with that is it's only for a Mavic drone, not an FPV drone. And so this solution that I came up with will fix that. It'll be a cheap, lightweight solution that'll allow you to fly FPV at night. I saw this video on Instagram of this guy named Holler FPV. He actually put these Stratus LEDs on his FPV drone. I think he had a big X8 or something, and he threw it on there, and he got some really cool shots where he was able to light up some skiers. And then he also was able to film in the dark. So the camera crew had these moving lights, and it made for this really cool effect. And that's what I wanted to do, but I didn't want to buy a Stratus light because they're kind of expensive, and I wanted to use a light that I already had. I had an S2 sitting around. So I am here at the park with my friend Lynn. He is also a videographer, and he's gonna help me film and see what this drone looks like at night. So I will be flying DJI O3. These are the goggles too. And then this is the TBS Mambo, and it's running Crossfire. So I've got the drone all set up. I've got 2 batteries, one to power the drone and the other one to power the light. So this is the Baja Designs FPV drone. I've got it ready to go. I'm gonna turn it on. I'm gonna hook up the battery and we're gonna see how this flies. We don't know if it'll be good or I'll just crash my drone because I can't see anything. Holy crap, dude, I can't see anything. Can you see that tree being lit up? Are you getting it? I'm gonna light up the tree. I just crashed. I have no idea where it is. So hopefully it didn't break anything. So here is the drone. I think the drone's fine, but the light completely flew off. The light's over here. Here's the battery. So I found the drone. It was just in there. I don't think anything's broken on it. I'll need to change the propellers, but the Baja Design light is alive. The mount completely snapped, and I have to find the other LiPo battery somewhere. Here's the other LiPo battery, but everything's fine. But I can say that that was a complete failure. You cannot see anything with this. It's just still too dark. There's definitely some damage. The whole drone was kind of caved in like this. So I just pulled it apart. I'll go look at it later tonight, but hopefully it's okay because these frames are not made anymore. The light, it actually, it hit and it just completely snapped off from here. But the cable and harness and all that's fine. That is just completely snapped. You can see those props. That one is completely bent, so I got to put a whole new set of props on there. It was fun, but this light is just not bright enough. It's too dark. The DJI, the O3 sensor on here, it's just not good enough for low light, even with a super bright Baja Design light. So you heard it here. You don't need to try this because it just doesn't work. You're gonna need a super, super bright light and a bigger drone if you want to do this.